My name's Dave Raval. I'm at South London originally, but I've lived in Walthamstow and in Hackney for the past 10 or so years.
Tell us about your football.
Well, not these ones. When I was at university, I started football refereeing. I always loved football, but I went to one of those schools where it was only cricket and rugby, and it was too posh to play football. So I never got a chance to really play in a team. And when I was at university, someone asked one day if they wanted a referee. And I thought, hey, that's a good opportunity for me to get into football. So I picked up a whistle and a pair of trainers and ran around and did a really not very good job of refereeing a game, but I was the football referee for that game and I really enjoyed it. And so I then thought, well, let's do this properly. So when I went home, I did the course. You have to have an eyesight test and you have to do an examination, which means you have to be slightly more intelligent than the average footballer, but only slightly. And then you become a football referee and you progress through the ranks depending on how well you do. And I spent 7 years as doing semi-professional football. I was like one of the top 30 referees in London and did games that had up to 2,000-3,000 people in the ground. But in addition to doing straight football, as in regular leagues and junior and semi-professional leagues, also did quite a lot of gay football, and probably that's what I'll talk about mainly today. So I think I never really thought about gay football. Did it exist? I didn't know it existed. Football always was and is to some degree still very much a straight man or straight woman's world. And I didn't start football in order to do gay football, although I was quite happy being gay. But I noticed that these things did exist. There was a gay and lesbian World Cup. It was happening in Washington DC one year. And I thought, that's a bit strange. Let's see what that's all about. And in my summer holiday, I went to America and refereed a tournament there. And most of the teams at that time, so this is probably 8 years ago, something like that. All the teams at that time were American or a few from Europe. There was one from London, there was I think one from Cologne, and a few dotted around, but pretty much from the more liberal countries, and only one from London, despite the fact there's 8-9 million people living here. So I really enjoyed that, and I went to tournaments after that. There have been tournaments in London, there's been tournaments as far away as Sydney. This year was the Gay Games in Cologne. There have also been regional tournaments, local things. So Waltham Forest, actually to credit to the council, they organised a gay and lesbian sports festival, more than just football, lots of different sports. And that was quite fun. That was just a single day or a weekend. And I've watched the development of gay and lesbian sports, in particular football. And in the time I've been doing it, it's really come on strong. So there used to be one club called Stonewall, and it's still there, it's a very good club. But now it has 4 teams. And then there's another team called Falcons, another one called Titans, another one called Romans, there was one called Lambda, and then there's Left Footers who have between 1 and 3 teams. And there's a huge gay footballing community now in London alone. Then most cities in the UK also have at least one team as well. And so there's an explosion of grassroots gay and lesbian football. At the same time, in the FA, I originally never told anyone. Why would I tell the Football Association I was gay? A, it wasn't relevant, and B, I wouldn't want to risk coming out. It might hurt my promotion. But things have changed. I wrote an article in the magazine that was sent to every single football referee in England, talking about the Gay and Lesbian World Cup, which I refereed the final for in Buenos Aires in 2007. And so basically outed myself to 20,000 English football referees. And it didn't, no one then demoted me or said you shouldn't do any more games, and everyone was quite supportive. And since then, the FA actually hosted the Gay and Lesbian World Cup in London the year afterwards. There are now a number of gay and lesbian, well, particularly gay football referees at a more senior level than I was, so doing games on the Football League. And really, there's no institutional problem like that there was before. Of course, the big issue still in football is that at the professional level there are no out gay players, and that's one that always captures the media attention. But at grassroots level, I think it's much better than it used to be, and it's been quite encouraging. And I'd like to encourage people watching this if they're interested in sports, not just football. It's my favourite sport. There are lots of other sports. But I encourage people interested in sport to not see their sexuality as a barrier if they do see that, because actually either there are specific gay and lesbian sports associations, there are lots of them now where you can do running, swimming, water polo, whatever you want to do, or just it's much easier now to integrate as a gay man or woman into regular mainstream sports. And the Gay Games in Cologne were a great example of that, where world records were set in some sports by professional athletes competing at the highest level in a gay tournament. And there's no reason whatsoever for people to be upset by that or for governing bodies to discriminate. So things have changed actually just in the past few years a great deal. There's more to do because we want to have professional gay and lesbian footballers coming out as well, but it's been quite an exciting journey, and one that I'd encourage people to don't see a barrier. Don't see a barrier from your sexuality. If you're interested in sport, break all those stereotypes about gays and lesbian not participating in sport, because they do and they're very good at it, and there's no reason why you can't be as well.
So do you think this, these lesbian and gay sports events marginalises the LGBT community from the mainstream?
No, so that's a common preconception and misconception actually. So that's definitely not the case. So it's just like you get Asian football tournaments nowadays, and lots of people from the Bengali, Indian, Punjabi communities come together. It doesn't mean those people don't also then participate in the regular Sunday morning or Saturday leagues. It's an opportunity for people of a like-minded persuasion to come together and have a fun time. But it's not exclusive. So a lot of straight people actually come to the gay and lesbian tournaments. Most gay football teams have at least one straight person in them, and they don't discriminate. And B, those teams, such as Stonewall, play every Sunday in the Middlesex Senior County League at quite a good standard, and beat lots of other teams that are straight and perhaps sometimes a bit annoyed to be beaten by a gay team, but hey, that's their problem. So it doesn't marginalise at all. It's actually a good way to encourage people to come out and play football, and at the same time builds up the number of people involved in that, and then many of those spill out into straight leagues as well.
You're in politics.
It's a different thing, yes, entirely, yes.
Yes. And is the gay agenda something very important for you in politics?
Equality is very important, yeah. So I think although we're much better than we used to be, clearly again in the past 10 years or so, we're still not equal. So we don't have equal marriage rights, for example. We have a civil partnership, which is not as good as marriage, and particularly for transgender or transsexual people, the regulations are not there yet. And then also there's a whole group of bisexual people that sort of fall outside of any of the legislation, and to some degree I think face a different type of discrimination, more of a cultural rather than legal discrimination. So there are some things that need to change, but I think probably most of what needs to change now is, well, it's the hearts and minds agenda. A lot of legislation is in place, but not everyone's attitudes have changed. And you notice that on the football field. So if I'm refereeing a game, you hear, although people don't know what my sexuality is as a referee, you get quite a homophobic abuse from the crowd against everyone, and lots of other abuse. If you give an offside, you get lots of abuse regardless of your sexuality is. But you get that sort of hearts and mind agenda that needs to change. So there's a lot for politics to do, but it's not just about making laws.
So in terms of your own journey as a gay person, have you encountered great differences during the time you've been here?
Yeah, things have evolved actually. So certainly 20, 30 years ago, it would have been quite difficult to have the lifestyle I do now, where to many cases it's not an issue, my sexuality, and I'm open about it, and I think we go, okay, then move on. So I'm sure that wouldn't have been the case 20 years ago. And in my time, when I grew up as a school boy in a school in South London, there were no gay role models at all. There was nobody on TV. There were characters that played effeminate roles in sitcoms, and that was about it. And there were no gay sports stars or no movie stars. In a way that's changed. So the former captain of the Welsh football team who's come out as being gay, and it was almost not talked about. It wasn't even like an illness that people didn't like. It was just something that didn't exist. So in suburban South London, no one was ever gay. No one ever talked about being gay. And how could you be gay? Because there was nobody else who was gay, and it just didn't enter your consciousness. And I think people growing up today, definitely that's not the case. Certainly not in urban areas of Britain, where there are plenty of role models, there are plenty of examples in the media or in your life around you. It's still not easy to come out, but it's much easier than something that didn't even exist in people's consciousness.
So when did it start to exist for you?
So actually for me it existed when I moved abroad, interestingly. So me growing up in London, a big gay metropolis, but I lived in Cologne for a year after I finished university, and Cologne was a big gay centre, but obviously not as big as London, but actually it was more the change, and the change allows you to, I think, explore new avenues and meet new people and try new social scenes without being tied to the ones you had for many years before. So I found, I'm not advocating everyone needs to move to Germany, nice though, it's a nice place, but I think a change of scene is often quite a good thing to get away from your childhood roots. Doesn't mean you have to stay away permanently, but it's a good opportunity to change and find out.
What about the issue of ethnicity and gay issues? I'm thinking of yourself as half Gujarati and half English.
Yeah, so I think that does vary very much according to the culture that you're involved in. So I mean, the goodness gracious me joke about gay people is that Indian guy brings his white boyfriend home, and they say, "Oh, Adam isn't really my friend; he's my boyfriend." And they say, the Indian family says, "Well, why couldn't you find a nice Indian boy instead of a white boy?" Yeah, and actually I find it in that side of my family, the Indian Gujarati Hindu culture, actually no one really cared less. I mean, it was slightly disappointing for my aunts that wanted to marry me off to some code in India, but they got over that pretty quickly. And it wasn't a big issue. Whereas I think sometimes if you come from particularly a Caribbean background, to some degree some African cultures, maybe some Muslim cultures as well, it can be more of an issue still. And particularly if you're talking about first generation parents, and that's less the case with second and third generation parents, but yeah, I think religion and culture has a role to play. So it's very variable depending on what culture you come from.
So in your case, you have two cultures. How do you create that with yourself in your own personality?
So my mother's English, my father's Indian, and when they married, that wasn't a cool thing to do, and so that both their families to some degree chucked them out. So I grew up in London because the families didn't really want to have my parents around at the time, but it's fine now. And so I grew up in very much a suburban white area. So I forgot all my Gujarati. I remember 6 words and I forgot the rest. So I actually grew up very much as an English white boy. And then as I got older, reconnected with my Indian family, and now I got on really well with my Indian family and go to all these weddings and meet relatives that I've met many years ago, but I can't remember who they are, to be honest. Such this extended family sort of stuff. And it's great, and it's been an opportunity for me to reconnect more recently, actually.
Do you have any strong feelings about gay identities in India?
In India itself? No, I'm very much a British Indian, so I've been to India once with a backpack on a holiday. And I know, obviously I've got family out there, and I know people who go there. But you find, especially in countries like Britain, where there's people who've been here 4 generations, a whole class of different Indians grown up, if you like, and I don't have much to do with India. Yeah, it's a foreign country to me. It's a country where I have some blood roots, if you like, and I respect the culture. But my Indian culture is British Indian culture, and it's based around Kingsbury and Wembley and Leicester and places like that, not anywhere in the subcontinent.